Alright, and here we have our proper introduction to not these little dudes. These little dudes are called Affinity. They don't ever really have a proper introduction because, well, they're actually kind of pointless. They're the grunts, the lowest of the low, and really easy to destroy, essentially cannon fodder. Anyway, that big guy I just destroyed though, that's an applaud. I should really have out some kind of wiki or something so I can give you like a proper description of what these enemies are, but I didn't do that. I actually have one of my favorite Let's Plays up right now in a very, very low volume, so as my mic doesn't pick it up, they are brain scratch commentaries as a teeny bit of advertising, albeit unnecessary advertising. And they're like just that. Anyway, enough about that, another channel. Basically the Applaud are bigger versions of the little guys, and the only thing that makes them better is they just have much more of a health bar, and they hurt a little more, and essentially just overall they're bigger grunts. That's exactly what they are. Nothing too special about them, and they go down just as easy as the other ones. Alright, and we have this guy here, good old Beloved, who is... oh, I got hit. Who is the game's first real threat, and I use the term loosely, because his attacks, much like most of the other angels in the game, are horribly telegraphed, to the point where they are super simple to dodge, if you're good at dodging and you don't screw up like I did right there. You just dodge them, you get your witch time, you blow this one away. This one is easier than the rest because you can usually find that horn that I just picked up from one of the affinities. I believe it's actually a mellophone of some variety. I don't really know, which is actually quite a shame because I was in marching band for all my high school years. So, and not only that, but I was in just regular band during my non-high school years. And by that I mean middle school. So I should really know what they are, but I don't. That's unfortunate of me. As someone, any random miscellaneous person watching could clarify, that would be spectacular. Don't do that. I need to keep my weapon. Anyway, this little device here, they're called LPs. I don't know why they're called LPs, so I'm just going to refer to them as records, or possibly golden records for the Let's Play purposes. And I'm going to demonstrate to you exactly what you do with one of these records. You grab them, and assuming you have a completed one, because later on down the road they come in parts. First they come in complete records, then they come in half records, third records, and then I think the most they get is, I think the most they split into is 4 pieces. It's not till much later down the road though, so we've got quite a while before I have to go hunting through all of them. And I do practice playthroughs of each chapter beforehand, so I will be able to find them and show them off, as I'm going to show off as much as possible for this game in a reasonable amount of time. Now what you do with the records is you simply gather them, complete them, and you take them to the gates of hell for a little reward.
Well, an Angelic Hymns Gold LP. Got your hands on something awfully rare, haven't you? That thing is the perfect bait to coax out some of hell's uglies. One note hits their ears, and a damn who's who of Inferno comes pouring out of the inner circles. Then I can use them to breathe life into what I make best. Weapons of mass destruction. Tell you what, you give me that record, and I'll order up something so fiendish, angels will cry at the sight of it. I'll just have to pop down to the tropics for a bit, so take a load off. He's a little rude, but he makes up for it with charm. Be nice to him, okay?
Okay. That weapon we got, the Onyx Roses, they are shotguns, basically. Sawed-off shotguns. They can be equipped to either the hands or the feet, or if you go into the weapons tab in the shop, you can purchase the Onyx Rose Alt, which is an exact replica of the Onyx Roses. It just allows you to equip it both the hands and the feet if that's your thing. Personally, whoops, I don't really care much for the weapon. It fires a little slower. It's obviously more powerful than Scarborough Fair, but for obvious Let's Play purposes, we're going to try it out. This is a verse that most people tend to skip. I skipped my first time. I like to start off just like that. Why? I think it's a good way to start the fun, honestly. Except it can get pretty chaotic a little early, so just make sure you know what you're doing. Watch out for your characters. I lose myself quite frequently and take a lot of unnecessary hits. And as you all know, more hits equals less score, which in a game like this where you're trying to get as much score as possible, that is a big and complete no-no. That's ripping them to shreds pretty nicely. I did kind of waste that. That's unfortunate. So anyway, the Onyx Roses are simply shotguns. They, like I said, they attack slower and they hit stronger. Exactly like shotguns do. They do look pretty cool though, you know. And one thing that Bayonetta 2 actually did is the weapons you get in this game, that Rodan, what he does is he basically plays the record, you know, it makes the noise, and since the demons despise the angelic hymns and whatnot that play out from those records, the Algama Swarm, Rodan goes in, he essentially beats the crap out of a bunch of them, and he makes you your weapons out of them. In the second game, when you actually get into Inferno, you get to explore around, play around in the depths of hell. And one of the neat things that they did was they kind of took these weapons into account, and there are some enemies in that game that actually, honestly, at least from what I assume, are where Rodan would get these weapons from. You know, there's an enemy that wields a shotgun, and he's obnoxious as all crap because you have very little reaction time, especially on the higher difficulty, which, as I stated earlier, Bayonetta 2 I found overall to be a much easier, much more comfortable experience than the first game. Comfortable isn't really a good word there, but overall is a much easier experience than this game, especially with the numerous amounts of health pickups you get and the fact that items no longer have a penalty to them. However, the hardest difficulty in that game is the same as it is in this one. It's infinite climax. The difference is they don't take away your witch time, which initially I was like, oh, this is going to be an absolute cakewalk. Well, as kind of a counterbalance sort of deal, they completely revved up the damage output that the enemies did to absurd levels, and they still attack faster like they do in this game. The problem is that the enemies of Inferno are absolutely wall-bustingly ridiculous compared to the angels. I mean, holy cow. The only issues I ever really had trying to complete the game on the highest difficulty there was when I got into Inferno and I had to deal with all the massive crap that hits so fast, they strike so hard. It's pretty insane, but I love it all the less. Unfortunately, as I stated earlier, it kind of didn't really force me, but it kind of, kind of forced me to use an item that basically plays the game for you, and therefore I kind of cheated out on the end.
What are you doing? Let's go.
Alright. This guy will get a much proper introduction probably about an hour or so into the game after this point, but this big man is Fortitudo, one of the 4 cardinal virtues, and they're essentially they're the game's bosses. However, this is not the actual boss fight with this guy, as this part is unfortunately easy, unfortunately boring. All you do is you stand here and you shoot the guy by holding the X button repeatedly, dodging his meteors, for whatever reason, meteors, for which time increasing your score. You should never break your combo chain because you're just constantly shooting the guy, and you get his health to about halfway down and he disappears in a cinematic. That's really it. Now, you can venture on this way, and you will go over here. Eventually you'll get to your witches, because technically this is a sequence, kind of like a flashback thing, but because of my outfit it doesn't really show that she is in her old outfit. You just go through this. I've been saying on the lot. My speech classes in college have been absolutely nothing for me. Just nothing. But yeah, you get here and boom. It's one witch, and soon enough he's gonna eat the other witch. Just like that. And there you go. The witches are in. Now he's gonna try to hit you with a little more variation of attack. This is the big one right here. Just dodge out of the way and yeah, and just like that is completed. Verse 7, pure platinum, one of the easiest in the game to get. Disappointingly easy, and you will meet that guy several times, and each time is rather obnoxious to the actual boss fight, which is really epic, because that's one thing Bayonetta does right all the time is boss fights, except for one particular boss fight, which I will get into when, again, the time becomes relevant, because that boss fight is rather boring. However, here we have a little sub-boss dealio. We're all getting closer to the end of the chapter, and this guy's nothing special. I don't know if you can get killed on this part or whatnot, but basically you just keep beating the crap out of his hand until eventually he will throw you, in which case there will be one of the game's few, but rather actually catch you off guard really easy quick time events. Boom. Yeah, this game has a few quick time events. Thankfully there aren't many, but the fact that there isn't that much, they catch you really off guard. I've suffered numerous deaths in this game from unfortunate quick time events because, well, I just wasn't prepared, because this game doesn't really seem like it has quick time events, or it should have quick time events anyway, which I'm thankful that there aren't many, but at the same time I'm just annoyed by the fact that they're there in general. I never liked quick time events. They always frustrated me. I'm looking at you, Resident Evil series. Now don't get me wrong though, I do enjoy the Resident Evil series a lot. But it is causing my frustration, which is distracting me from this fight. There we go, witch time. And we'll end this fight right here. So yeah. We are actually really close to the end of this segment. The chapters vary in length, honestly. Most of them are roughly about this length, which, looking at the time, is about 40 minutes. A little long. Some of them are really short. I like most of the chapters. Some of the chapters I really absolutely cannot stand, and you will know them when I get to them. But Anyways, as stated before, I believe this wraps up the chapter, and therefore it will wrap up the segment. That was Chapter 1, The Angels Metropolis. And our overall score is
I should have been a pole dancer.
another, well, I think I got a platinum in the last one. I probably got a gold because I remember I got a pretty bad score for the beginning of the prologue because I was really distracted. I was in a distracting environment, and this time was a little easier around. It is nighttime. All my roommates are asleep, which I probably should be too, but I got another segment that I'm gonna do right after this one. So yeah, that wraps it up. This wraps it up. Thank you for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. If you're John Munn, I hope you enjoy the fact that eventually this is going to get over 5 parts. And if you are, in fact, John Munn, we need to get some more of that Diablo Let's Play going, because the feeling of abandonment is just too strong and I don't enjoy it. But anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoy, and I will see you next time in Bayonetta when we bring you to Chapter 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's what you've been waiting for. Angel attack! Ready, fire!
Okay, because I didn't show it off in the first part, I figure I should at least demonstrate it here. This will be the first and last time you will ever see this in any of my videos ever for Bayonetta Let's Play. Why? Because I hate it. It's boring, it's pointless. What you do is you have all these bullets on the bottom. You only have a set amount, but every time you find an arcade bullet within the game, you get 3 extra bullets to shoot in this. You can either shoot them like this and get some score, like that, get a nice headshot, or you can do what I do every single time, and I just cache my bullets for halos and I move on. If you didn't do that, however, after you fire your last round, what would end up happening is that it goes to this little shop where you'll exchange points for items, so that way you don't have to spend your halos. And there is the only time you can actually purchase the Siren's Horn. But again, I find this minigame obnoxious, intrusive. You can't turn it off, you can't skip it, so save yourself the hassle, do what I do. It's not really worth it, and just cash in your bullets.